Welcome back to day 81. Today's pose is triangle pose or Trikonasana. We're going to do the full pose today using our blocks. You're welcome to continue using the chair. Really great prop to raise up the floor so we're not overstraining our body. Always great to warm up first, so let's get started. Take our arms out to the side, taking yourself a nice inhale, draw your palms overhead, and exhale, lower. Continuing, raise the head, looking upward, nice big stretch. Exhale as you lower your chin to your chest. Continuing and allowing yourself to arrive to your one pose practice today, letting everything else outside go. Let's take one more nice full breath. Draw the palms overhead. Exhaling, palms together and down. All right, we'll do just a little bit of a warm up before we get to the full pose. And so let's stand with our feet about shoulder distance apart and just start a nice twist of the upper body and shoulders. Let the arms flap by your side. Breathing in through the nose, exhale out through the mouth. Make some soft fists, tap the opposite shoulder anywhere behind the hips or the lower back. Starting to stimulate some circulation, warm up the body, and then gently let your body unwind. All right, with Trikonasana or tree pose, really want to be able to move in the hips. So step those feet slightly wide again. Hands on your hips and really imagine that you're making circles with your tailbone. So let the hips circle around, starting maybe small, smooth circles. The upper body just floats and follows along as the hips move. Start to get a little bit bigger, smooth circle. Notice if you feel like, notice the hips. You can see them moving around in a circle. If they're not, pause and really try to get those hips moving and change direction. Let's go the other way. A few more times around in this direction, a little bit bigger circles. And one last time, bring your hips back to center. All right, let's grab our blocks. You can also use a chair for this. We're going to do a wide leg forward fold to stretch out the backs of the legs and the inner thighs. We'll bring our blocks just in front of the long edge of your mat. Start with your hands on your hips, standing behind your blocks. Step your feet wide. Your inner blades of your feet are parallel. And we'll start with hands on hips. You're going to fold at those hip creases. Keep a nice long spine as you fold forward. When you get about halfway down, bring your hands right onto the blocks, just underneath your shoulders. So imagine that your back is a tabletop. Taking a nice breath here. Now start to notice if you're feeling any stretch, the back of the legs, the inner thighs. If you need, you can spread your feet a little bit wider. If you're bending your knees, keep them where they are. Start to try to straighten your legs, but you can keep the knees a little bit bent. And then we lower the blocks if available to allow ourselves to feel that nice sensation of stretch. Maybe you can bring your hands to the floor. And then either hands or moving the blocks straight out in front of you. Imagine like you're doing a little bit of a wide leg downward dog. My hands are in line with my shoulders, hands on the blocks, and I press my hips back. Nice, long, smooth spine. Just keeping my gaze downward at the floor, not letting my head hang. And we'll take a few breaths here. Allow the backs of the legs, the inner thighs to open up. Preparing ourselves for triangle pose. And then we're going to gently walk the blocks right back under your shoulders. Press the arms nice and long. We move the blocks back up to the high height. Bring your hands into your hips as you press into your hips and lengthen your spine as you reach the crown of the head, coming back to standing. And then we'll heel toe the feet back together. All right, that's a bit of a warm-up. We're going to take your blocks and bring them to the back of the long edge of your mat, maybe about right under your forearms. It just really depends on how wide we step our feet apart. Standing between the blocks, take hands on hips, roll your shoulders back. We'll step the feet wide. So if your blocks are ahead of your ankles, step back and move your blocks a little bit behind your calves. All right, we're going to turn the whole right leg and right foot out to the right side. I'm mirroring you. And press the left heel gently back. So we're in that warrior two stance. Front heel is in alignment with the back foot of the arch of the back foot. Now remember, we want to move in triangle pose as we discussed in the last couple of sessions, of really moving in the hips. So bring your hands right into the hip creases and try to press that left hip back. And you're bending at that right hip, letting the whole right side of the body stay nice and long as you bend over to the right side. Your shoulders stay stacked. You're facing forward towards that long edge of your mat. And imagine the spine, the rib cage, the shoulders, the hips all move together. So I want to try to avoid letting my whole spine, just trying to reach down to that block. My whole spine is bending now, putting strain on those vertebrae. So we want to keep everything long. So I'll demonstrate first, and then we'll do it together. I'm going to take my arms out to the side in our warrior two, and I'm gazing at my right fingertips, and I think of reaching. I'm bending at that right hip crease, reaching, 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 keeping everything nice and aligned. Then I bring my hand. Can I find that block? Come in a little bit more. If you find that your chest is folding towards the floor, you know you've come too far down. You can always rise up. Hand can be on the top of the thigh. This elbow can get a little bent. That's okay, as long as we're keeping that whole body nice and elongated. If you're a little bit farther down, below the knee, but don't press on your knee, right below the knee or above it. And now you want to think about your shoulder, that top left shoulder rolling back so your shoulders are stacked and in alignment with your hips. And then you're going to reach that left arm up, straight up. You're either going to gaze forward, straight ahead, or you can look upward as long as you're not straining your neck. So hand either on the leg or the block, but you want your shoulders to be stacked. You don't want to feel any strain or stress on your lower back, sacrum, or spine. If you do, back out of it and find a nice position. If that's still not good, come all the way out. All right. Let's set up together. You've stepped your feet wide. Turn the right foot and leg in the direction of the short end of your mat. And then try that little hip movement, getting that nice flexibility in your hips. If you can, maybe step your feet a little bit wider. Spread the arms wide. Gaze at those right fingertips. Take a nice inhale. As you press your left hip back, you're reaching, 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 like you're trying to grab something over there, the right side of your room. Now bring your hand down. If it doesn't comfortably reach the block outside that right calf, bring it onto your leg. You can either have the hand on the left hip. Start there. Let's take the hand on the left hip. Think of rolling that left shoulder blade back. Check in. You can notice, do your shoulders feel stacked? Your chest facing forward. Now if there's feeling any strain in the lower back or sacrum, back out of it. And then if your top shoulder feels open and relaxed, you can raise that left arm, either looking forward or straight up towards the hand. Pausing there, take a few nice full breaths in our triangle pose. Now imagine you have a string tied to the left fingertips. You want to use the left side of the core, the abdominal muscles, press into the block or the leg and gently reach all the way back up. And then release the arms down. Turn that right foot in, heel toe to step your feet together. We'll come back out together and do the other side. Okay, so one side could feel different than the other. This is called asymmetrical poses. Take the hands on the hips, step your feet wide. Notice where that block is on the left leg. If you're using it, always can use a chair. Remember, the props are really there to support our body so we're not overstraining or stressing. Turn the left leg and foot out to the left side. Start with hands on hips. Get that little hip movement. Feel that left hip crease. Come back to center. Take the arms wide. So you're keeping both legs straight. We want to think about, should have said this on the other side, you want to try not to press through that knee too much so you're straining the back of the knee. You have a little softness in the knee. The leg is straight, but a little softness. What helps is to press through the big toe mound, and that takes the strain off the back of that knee. All right, let's start again. Arms wide. Remember, bending at the hip crease. Reach, 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 reach. Nice and long over to the left side as far as you comfortably can. Bring that right hand on the hip. Bring that left hand down either on the block or your leg. It's right outside your shin. You can bring it onto the shin or the thigh. Remember, don't press on the knee. Now, roll that right shoulder blade back. You want your shoulders stacked in alignment with your hips. Press through that left big toe mound, and then either keep that hand on the hip or raise that right arm. Head facing forward, or turn the head to look up towards the hand. Pause here, breathing. Check in with the back. Any strain or discomfort, gently back out of it. We'll take a couple more breaths here. One more. Now imagine you have string tied to your right fingertips using the right side of the core. Press into the ball of the left big toe. Reach on up all the way back up to standing. Bring the hands on the hips. Turn the left foot and leg in. Heel, toe, step your feet together. Always nice when you're doing asymmetrical poses maybe to finish out with a symmetrical pose. So let's do that same wide leg forward fold that we did to stretch ourselves out. Bring your blocks to that long edge of your mat. Step your feet wide. Inner blades of your feet are parallel. Take the hands on the hips right at your hip creases as you fold at the hips. Nice long neutral spine. When you get about halfway, chest parallel to the floor, bring your hands down to the blocks. And then as available, you can lower the blocks. Keep your spine nice and long so we're not rounding in the upper back. And then maybe you slide your blocks or your hands forward if you're on the floor. Press your hips back. Think of a nice long spine. Stretching out the lower back, the sacrum. Offsetting those asymmetrical poses we just did in triangle pose. And then take your time. Walk your blocks back under the shoulders. Press to the high height. And then bring your hands into your hip creases, pressing in, lengthen your spine, reach the crown of the head forward and all the way up. And then heel, toe, and step your feet together. All right, practicing triangle pose. Be mindful. Remember, props are your friends. Use your chair if the block feels too far away. If you're hypermobile, just remember not to press too much in the back of the knees. Enjoy, practice at home, and we'll take our nice closing breath. Inhaling, raise the palms overhead. Exhale your palms together and down, sending yourself gratitude today for honoring your body, yourself, and all others. And I thank you for joining this one pose practice today. I look forward to seeing you back tomorrow.